Question: who's your favorite superhero? My favorite superhero is the Amazing Spider-Man, if you couldn't guess. Why do we love superheroes? Because they have powers. Wouldn't it be cool if you had powers? You do have powers. And we're going to talk about them right here on Optimal Expression. Hello and welcome to Optimal Expression, where we embrace our greatest potential to manifest our wildest dreams. Good people, welcome. Welcome to my Exercise Your Power series. Now, this is something I've been wanting to do for a minute. It's important that we understand that not only do superheroes have power, but you have power. I have power. We all have powers. Now, here's the thing. It's been kind of kept on a low. You know what I mean? There's a whole lot of people that benefit from us not being aware of our own powers. Now, I don't like to give more energy to the negativity or to what may be perceived as the bad guy. So we're just going to turn the page and give our attention to the power. And in my opinion, when we talk about exercising our power, it's important to, number one, recognize that when it comes to your circumstances, you do have power over them. That's the number one thing. If you believe that you gotta just go with what you're given, if you believe that there is no hope, if you believe that it is what it is and you can't do anything about it, that's what you got, okay? But when you believe that there is hope, when you believe that you got a chance, when you believe that things can be better, that you can be better and you have the power to change it, now we're beginning to exercise our power, okay? And there are 5 powers that I'm going to discuss in this series, Exercise Your Power. And those 5 powers are imagination, the power of the spoken word, collective consciousness, the power of release, and the power of your attention. That's what I'm talking about. Now, here's the thing about these 5 powers. We are always exercising them anyway. They are a part of you. It's innate. It's within you. You walk in power. So let me stop beating around the bush and let's talk about my favorite power, which is imagination. If there's anything you want to know about imagination, please read, watch, or listen to anything from Neville Goddard, okay? He is the one who says that God is your own wonderful human imagination, is how he says it. And I ain't gonna front. When I first heard it, I said, man, this dude is tripping. Like, imagination ain't real. That's what I was told. If you just imagine something, how real is it? It's not happening. It's not happening now. Did you realize that at an early age, you were told that nothing is real about imagination and you lost your faith in imagination early? As a child, you would imagine all the time. You could imagine anything was real, and in that moment, it was very real to you. It was as real as it needed to be. Well, good people, I'm here to tell you today that the power of imagination is very real. In fact, imagination creates reality. That's right. And Neville talks about this in all of his work. Anything that I know about imagination, I've got from studying his work. So please check out Neville Goddard. My favorite book from him is The Power of Awareness. He breaks it down, all of it, okay? So, imagination. We've been taught and conditioned to believe that it's not real, but in fact, it's very real. In fact, imagination creates reality. And you might be wondering, well, how? Because if I imagine something, it's not real right now. Okay, now it would be dope if we could imagine something and presto, we got it. It doesn't quite work like that in 3D, okay? So there is something called the bridge of incidents, right? Because sometimes we might be in a bad mood. Anything can happen. And when we're in 3D, this is kind of like the training ground. You don't know what to do with all that power just yet. This is where we begin to flex those powers, those muscles, and first become aware of them. So being aware of the power of imagination, understand that there's nothing that you do that you don't imagine first. Everything you do, you imagine first. Okay? I'll give you an example. You couldn't walk across the room and pick up something from a table unless you saw it in your mind's eye first. Now, you don't sit down in a meditation to do anything like that because it's a very simple task and you don't have any trouble with the faith that you can do that. All right? But when it comes to some of the things that we deem more difficult because we've been conditioned to believe that certain things are just hard to do, be, or have, then we got to put in extra effort. Then we have to be still. Then we have to meditate on it. Then we need the affirmations and other things to help us flex that muscle of imagination. And just like any muscle, the more you use it, the better you become at it. So let's talk about how do you use your imagination, okay? Consciously, because the thing is, we use it unconsciously all the time. So much so that we don't even know that we imagined something, all right? It may not even be in the fanciful way. Did I say that right? I kind of sound like I chopped that up. In the fanciful way that we think of as imagination, right? But we do it. Now let's talk about how to do things in our imagination consciously, all right? Now, I am big on meditation, and I'll tell you that I sit still, I close my eyes, I breathe, I concentrate on my breath, my attention is on my third eye, my heart chakra, and I can see something as clear as day. Now, the cool thing is, with practice, you get better with that. And here's another thing, too. I'm just freestyling as we go along, okay? When we talk about imagination, it's not just what you see. Imagination also incorporates the other senses. So what you can taste, touch, feel, hear. Hearing is a real big one for me, okay? Did I get all of the senses? If I missed one, I think you understand. All of the senses, okay? Sight, touch, taste, feel. I feel like I smell. That's the other one, okay? And whatever it is, okay? Now, look, in the most practical sense, all right? First, in anything, you have to know what you want. What is it that you want? What do you want to improve, okay? I can give you some examples. I've used imagination to manifest cars, to manifest jobs, to manifest love. And I'm not saying this to brag, but I want you to understand that I'm speaking from practical experience. I have gone into a meditative state and imagined these things. Hold fast. If you don't want to imagine, that's just fine. Let me give you an example of how I manifested true love and a soulmate, okay? Now, I imagined what it would feel like, just in my feeling nature. What it would feel like if I had the love of my life in my life right now. What would it feel like to know that she was next to me in my bed? What would it feel like to hold her in my arms as I fell asleep? I did these things. I imagined that I was holding the love of my life in my arms as I fell asleep, and I held on to the feeling that it was so real. And by God, it worked. I tell you, in short time, in a matter of weeks, that woman, in fact, in about a month, was in my bed and I was holding her and it felt like deja vu. Now, who doesn't want real love? I'm not trying to sell you anything right now. I'm telling you my real life experience. Imagination works, okay? Learn to exercise your power and imagination. and there isn't anything that you can't have, right? Now, I know if you're familiar with law of attraction and it talks about thoughts create reality, this is true, they do. But when we talk about imagination, we're going beyond thoughts. Thoughts are a part of imagination. See, when you talk about imagination, that's incorporating your thoughts. But most importantly, it's talking about your feeling nature. Okay? And when you want to affect your living reality, we need to work with our frequency. And in that, we're using the universal law of resonance. Now, when we talk about the law of resonance, we're talking about the frequency in which you are radiating, vibrating, frequency. And the frequency is how you feel, your state of being. Are you happy? That's a frequency. Are you sad? That's a frequency. Are you mad? That's a frequency. Okay? All of it, frequency. Are you excited? I'm excited to talk about this. That's a frequency, okay? Now, the universe is taking your lead. Whatever your frequency is, then you will attract things to you, people, places, and events that are in alignment with that frequency. And the best way to control your frequency is to imagine that everything that you want is here and now. Because the point of power is now. Now is the perfect time to exercise your power of imagination. If you want a better job, imagine yourself kicking ass on an interview. See yourself doing well. Hear the voice of yes, you have the job. Welcome to the team, okay? If you want your own empire, see it. If you want a house, see the house. Find that house on the app, in your phone. See yourself walking through it. Feel the floor on your feet. See yourself pulling up the window to let air in. Experience that house in your imagination. Okay? What kind of car do you want to drive? See yourself in the driver's seat. See what the dashboard looks like. How does the steering wheel feel in your hand? How does the sound system sound when the bass is thumping in the back? Don't that feel good? Do these things regularly. Now, when you're doing these things and you are imagining things, what's happening is you are impressing your subconscious mind. Here's the cool thing about the subconscious mind. It does not know the difference between what we call reality, waking reality, and imagination. It's all the same to the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is most impressionable when you first wake up and as you fall asleep. So if you're not a meditation person, and I'm being purposely redundant because I've said this in several videos, if you're not a meditation person, see yourself doing, being, having, experiencing whatever you want first thing in the morning. And it's even more powerful if you have an affirmation or some of the affirmations to go along with it. And the same thing as you go to sleep at night. See yourself doing, being, having, experiencing whatever you want as you fall asleep. These images are impressing your subconscious mind. The subconscious mind is your own personal genie in a bottle that will give you whatever you imagine. Okay? This ain't no circus act. Try it. Start with something simple. Okay? Start with something like, I'm sure you've heard this before, but if not, this is always an easy one to start with. Parking spaces. Okay? Start with food. Manifest a bag of popcorn. Imagine yourself eating your favorite popcorn or whatever your favorite food is. Okay? Start with those type of events and then move on to other things, to greater deeds. When you start small and then go to things that you may consider to be more difficult, then you are exercising your power more and becoming more powerful in it because you are increasing your faith, and faith is a power. Whatever you put faith in is. In fact, it can't exist until you believe in it first. So I want you to believe in you. And I want you to believe in your power of imagination. And I want you to see how gloriously your life will change for the better. Now, please, I am imagining you right now liking, sharing, and subscribing to this video or my channel. And I want to thank you for all your continued support. Please like, share, subscribe. I hope the message resonated with you. I'll see you right here on Optimal Expression. Peace and love.